start earlier, make a lot of sacrifices, and go against the flow. Go against the flow of the river, because everybody is so focused on going in one direction where they fail to see that there is a better way, that there is a smarter way to do things. So
Hey everyone, it's me again, Jay Christ, and welcome to another episode of the Design Live Show. In episode 59 of TDLS, I sit down with Jaggy Gangat. Jaggy is a creative entrepreneur, a video producer, director, photographer, and a marketer based in Manila, PH. He owns Avanguard Creatives, a video marketing agency, and Alu Creative Learning, an online educational platform for creatives, where he helps aspiring individuals and professionals grow through media and education technology. In this episode, we talk about his ground-up stories, how he was able to build this 7-figure creative business from ground up, how he was able to leverage challenges to fuel his passion for creating a business that he really loved, why everyone should bootstrap their business using sweat equity, and practical advice on how to leverage the power of technology for your creative journey, and why having an accountability partner or a mentor can expedite the process of designing your creative career, and much more. So I hope I can enumerate all the great topics that we talk about here in this episode. So obviously I can't do that. Right, so it will be a bit long intro. So yeah, so hopefully you'll learn a lot from this episode, and I learned and I enjoyed talking to Jaggy, how he was able to build his career from growing up as a Filipino creative here in a developing country like Philippines, right? So it's really mind-blowing how he was able to share that, and humble enough to share all the experience he had for TDLS audience. Alright, so if you love this episode, let me know by subscribing on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or SoundCloud, or in any of your favorite podcast app. You can also share this episode to your friends, family, colleagues, or to strangers, right? Why not? And if you love to visit all the great previous episode, you can go to thedesignliveshow.com. So that's it. Let's go jump into this week's episode. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy this episode.
You're listening to The Design Live Show, a podcast that's helping everyone grow to live a meaningful and creative life. It's me, Jay Christ, a designer from the Philippines, best known for being an advocate of essentialism and optimism. I'm sitting down with awesome people to talk about their journey, their process, and the lessons they've learned along the way.
Hey everyone, it's me again, Jay Christ, and welcome to another episode of the Design Live Show. And we are now on another episode of TDLS. So I'm here with Jaggy. So it's a long overdue. So I've been inviting him for a long time now. And finally, Jaggy is here. Hello, bro. Nice to it's so nice to have you on the show, and thanks a ton for dropping by on the podcast. How are you?
yes, likewise. Thank you then for the invite. Kahit na medyo long overdue ng podcast natin. And I'm doing well naman. Still at the office right now. So, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So it's my pleasure, bro. Thank you so much for dropping by on the podcast. And, for those who don't know Jaggy, just to give context in this episode, and I always ask this before we go dive into your passion project or business that you are doing, and every cool stuff you are doing. Probably we're going to talk about that for all the listeners that are listening right now. So can you share a little bit about your background and what are you doing right now, just to give context for our TDLS listeners?
All right. So my name is Jaggy Gangat. So I am the owner of Avanguard Creatives. It's a video marketing company here based in Manila. And I'm also the founder of Ali Creative Learning. It's an online educational platform that we put up to help and teach creative professionals, creative aspiring creative in professionals for them to to learn the trade, the practices. And then I also run a consulting gig business where I teach and help creatives, especially with their business in terms of marketing, putting up their own studio, marketing, sales, and yeah. So what else? So right now, then, as an entrepreneur, what I do and what I'm most passionate about is, um, doing what I love and sharing that advocacy that anybody can turn their passions into something, into a career, into a money making business. Because I've started from basically from nothing before. Um, I am an architecture undergraduate of
Mm-hmm.
UST. I wasn't able to finish my schooling, so it's around one semester more before graduating. Pero I decided to drop school and drop college to
Mm-hmm.
pursue what I love. I began in 2012 as a photographer. So 2012 was when I discovered and learned about photography. Then 2 years later, I discovered filmmaking, videography, and I fell in love with it. Come 2015, I was already doing
Uh-huh.
freelance work directly with clients. Because prior to that, I was working under studios as a freelancer. Then,
Mm-hmm.
pero 2015, I was already working directly with clients because I saw that there are more opportunities when I work directly with clients compared to when working with studios, as their outsourced manpower. In 2016, that's when I established and started my business officially. I registered my business
Mm-hmm.
with the local government authorities and offices. Um, yeah, and then since then, one of my biggest achievements is how I was able to turn a very very low capital into something profitable. So in 2017
Mm-hmm.
was then when I founded Ali Creative Learning along with a friend and a partner. So we saw the opportunity and the potential of teaching creatives how they can learn more. And then 2018 and onwards, we continued developing those platforms and those startup businesses and companies. And here I am right now, still doing what I love and still enjoying the ride despite the
Mm-hmm.
challenges and despite so there.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think you're doing a lot of cool stuff. And I've been following you. I think we've been friends for online friends for over a year or whatever. I can't remember, but I'm just curious, Jaggy. What is like growing up as a as a Filipino? I think a lot of creatives or uh, aspiring creatives are growing up as a Filipino, as with an Asian parent, go to school, get a good job, and then uh, be good at it until you something like that. So what is like, because being creative is a unconventional path, right? So we all know that there's a lot of challenges along the way, including finances, right? So how monetizing your passion or whatever. And can you share your experience growing up as a kid, as a aspiring creative?
Well, growing up as a Filipino or within a Filipino context, it has a lot of it. It has a lot of its ups and downs. And then, in terms of culture, the creative industry is blooming right now, and every day you see new
Mm-hmm.
creatives entering the industry. Um, Economic wise, it still has, it's still, from what I can see, it's still years behind other countries who are more developed in terms of technology, in terms of
Mm-hmm.
finances, in terms of funding. because as an entrepreneur here in the Philippines, acquiring funds and
Mm-hmm.
investments is not that easy. Really, not that easy. So
100%.
I did a lot. I did a lot of pitches for investors. I even joined, this reality TV show
Yeah.
called The Final Pitch.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, investments are really tight here in the Philippines because I'm not entirely sure why. Because maybe it have to do with talents? Does it have to do with the financial resources available? So a lot of the times you get good funding really from outside of the Philippines. But overall, I'm loving the challenge. I'm loving the hustles. Uh, despite the lack of resources and bootstrapping my way from the very beginning, it has taught me a lot about being independent, not relying on the investments or the funds of others. Yes, acquiring funds from others can help boost a startup company, but in the long run, given the current situation here in the Philippines, you
Mm-hmm.
have to find the guts and the courage and the persistence to do what you love. Because if we do not adapt, then it's practically saying goodbye to your passion and to your career.
Yeah, 100%. And I think Jaggy, you if you agree, a lot of things that you're doing from the start is a lot of sweat equity rather than so I think entrepreneurship here in the Philippines are really tight and really hard. You have to really had that guts and that skin to to conquer all the challenges. And I'm just wondering, how do you overcome those challenges before, right? So, you just getting started, and that there's a lot of creatives there that are really talented. And how do you? Is it internally, or it's internal motivations that you have, or do you have any books or any teachers that taught you how to to make things happen? Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. Recently, I went on a trip to Singapore for this
Uh-huh.
finance tech fintech festival, and one of the speakers mentioned about Singapore, the government itself really supporting the
Mm.
entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So they really encourage startups to partake there in Singapore, and the government fully funds those programs. Whereas here in the Philippines, I think there is now a bill,
Uh-huh.
a
Wow.
proposal, a bill to support the startup industry. It's still very, very young, very, very fresh, and a lot can happen. So with regards to overcoming the challenges, I've experienced a lot of failures up to the point that I had to how can I say, revive my company, my startup companies, practically
Mm-hmm.
more than 3 times now. And one of the motivations I give myself is seeing the people who are directly affected by what we do, seeing them grow, seeing them happy, seeing them fulfilled when they achieve new learnings. It's one of the reasons why as well that I entered into the teaching industry, coaching industry, because
Mm-hmm.
I myself did not receive any proper guidance from any mentors before. Yes, there were some, but
Mm-hmm.
not as detailed, not as committed as
Uh-huh.
should.
Yeah.
So what I did was I really taught myself how to start a business. I really taught myself how to bootstrap my way to earn money, to generate enough money to sustain the operations of my business. And then from those experiences, I share it with others. I share it because I know that knowing that I wasn't able to get that kind of education and training and mentoring, I want to change that. I want to help others and provide them with the training that they need. And probably the motivation that I get is really from the results of my effort, seeing the results of my effort and seeing the results of others because of whatever, because of all the things that I do.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think really if you don't have any teacher like me, I like you, I'm always a self-taught learner, or I try to learn fast as I can and fail as fast as I can to figure out things, right? So I think if for those who are listening that are not really confident about what their skill are, what they're not really confident if their passion will make money in the long run or whatever. Uh, like what Jaggy said, I think if you really first, pursue what you love and find the courage to move forward as much as you can, you'll find golden nuggets in every situation, in every failure, right? So, and I always, I think, I I said this a ton, a tons of times
Mhm.
in here in the podcast that you really need to focus on your, course, or your own journey or your own course, right? So in one course until you find it successful, and then if you have any, something that you can provide for others, provided, and if you have any money uh to spend for mentors or teachers or seminars, that's really valuable as well. If you
Yes,
have,
yes.
yeah, if you don't have, go figure, right? like
Mhm.
like what
Sure.
Jaggy and I did, right? And I'm just curious, Jaggy, your can you walk us through of your business? I think a lot of uh, Filipinos, especially Filipinos, are not really familiar with the business model of creative learning, or mentoring, especially here in the Philippines. It's very I don't know. I think a lot of creatives are get uh, into the they tend to go to YouTube, right, or
Mhm.
tend to seek it's really not really familiar. They are not really familiar with it. Can you share or walk through us on how your business can help every creative professional, especially Filipinos?
Okay, sure. Well, one of the problems that I see with, because there are a lot of resources already available online. You can find, courses on
100%.
YouTube. You can find courses on Facebook and everything, and everywhere else. You can um, ask away in Facebook groups and a lot of forums. But the problem there is because there are a lot of information out there, it makes creatives, it makes people even more confused because when people enter the industry, they often ask themselves, where do I start, or how do I start, where exactly can I begin? And then that's when they start browsing on YouTube um, and wherever else without even knowing and understanding their main objective, because people are confused right now, because people are ever more confused despite the influx of information.
Mm-hmm.
What we do is we tailor-made everything. We tailor-made our my programs and our programs to specifically to achieve certain objectives. So let's say you, Jay Christ,
Uh,
you're entering the industry, you have zero knowledge. So we ask you
mhm,
first, what do you want to be? What exactly do you want to be? So if you tell me that you want to be, let's say, a graphic designer, a freelance graphic designer, then once we understand that, at least we know where you want to be. Then we tailor our courses, our programs, in order for you to achieve that in the fastest and in the smartest way possible. But then, if let's say you tell me that you want to start your own studio business, you want to start up your own, you want to work directly with clients, work with bigger projects, then that's a time we custom our program in order for you to fit in order to fit your
mhm,
objectives. So in traditional education, what happens here is that the school feeds you everything. It feeds
mhm,
students everything. That is what we can call passive learning. Okay,
mhm.
but with
Yeah.
active learning, with active learning, we are focusing on the strengths, on the skills, on the interests of the students, of the mentors, or of the mentees rather, and then we focus on those areas to to, instead of spending a year learning everything, you spend a month learning just one thing, mastering it until you become good at it, until you become the best. So I think what we offer really is a roadmap to certain successes, whatever success means to you or to the students, diba? So let's say na,
Mhm.
so there, I think that basically is what we are trying to achieve, and that is what I think and what I believe is what the market or the industry needs, is to become more educated, to become more guided. And I think one of the things that we can really help is we don't just give out seminars and workshops. We really assess. I personally really
Mhm.
assess and make sure that all of my students achieve their goals and their own successes.
That's awesome. And I think guided mastery is really a great way to learn, and uh, the fastest way to learn. And how about Jaggy, when someone, let's say a creative professional doing a lot of good works, and then but he can't meet a certain, let's say, 7-figure mark or 8-figure mark. Can you do that with your own blueprint, or with the Ali Creative Learning's blueprint?
Yes, definitely. Actually, I'm preparing for a
Mhm.
5-day workshop. It's called the Business Class for Creatives 3. And let's say na the uh, the participant has a good portfolio, but they want to achieve that 7-digit or 8-digit mark, then definitely I tailor my courses and my program specifically to achieve that, because there are a lot of creatives out there who are really really good at what they do, and
Mhm.
me as an entrepreneur, and I see those potentials. I see that those artists are sellable. So
Yeah.
what now I teach them is how they can apply business and marketing to communicate their value to the public, to their own target markets. That way, when we apply certain business practices, certain marketing and sales, processes, it makes them, it helps their brand and their business become stronger, and eventually, they can achieve it. They can achieve that 7-digit mark that they are aiming for. Because, and I do not preach I do not preach and I do not teach what I have not yet achieved. And
Mhm.
I know that this is possible, especially with the 7-digit mark, is because I myself have done it. I myself have used the methods that I use in order to achieve it. In one of my, maybe if I can tell a story, last year, 2018,
Sure.
in August, no, I'm sorry, May of 2018 was when I did my first business class for Creatives One. So I taught my students then how to start their own career, start their own business, apply marketing online, and so on. And then um, 5 months later, because I practice what I preach. So 5 months later, I was able to again break my own record of
Wow. Mhm.
achieving my 7-digit mark, surpassing my 7-digit mark. And I am confident. I can say that I am confident what I do and what I teach is because during my first year of business, I was able to achieve a seven, my very first 7-digit mark back in 2016. So
Wow.
remember,
Mhm.
I started from scratch. I started with
Mhm.
with barely 10,000 pesos in capital funding.
Wow.
In at 2016, I was able to accumulate 2 million pesos worth of 2 million in revenue, so which was really really good. So because of that standard that I was able to achieve, every year I try to surpass that. Every year I try to teach and help others achieve the same thing, because J Christ, if you know
Mhm.
the feeling of of achieving certain milestones, it makes you motivated to help others do the same thing, because the joy and the happiness of, you know, knowing that I did this, it's fulfilling. So
Mhm.
there.
Yeah, 100%. And I really like what you do because you're not hoarding your knowledge, you're not hoarding your information to others. You're teaching it, right? So, and I know a lot of creatives, or especially the you know it sounds cliche somehow for them, or hey, you have to learn business, you have to learn marketing, or whatever whatever media throws at you, right? So I think a lot of creatives are uh, uh, heard it a lot of before, but it's really true, right? If you really love to hit that mark, hit the another level of your career, you have to learn business, you have to learn marketing, you have to learn persuasion or whatever
Yeah,
call
correct.
right. So a lot of things involved, and I know a lot of leaders are usually teach this as well, but it's different when you perform it with your own, right, with your own career, right? It's different when you progress in your own journey, or your own creative journey, like what Jaggy said. And I'm just curious, Jaggy, for those all things that you've for all the great heights that you've achieved, and you know for this cool business you have, awesome business you have, that are helping a lot of creative professional. If you go back, what's the biggest mistakes that you don't want to happen for those you are teaching right now? I think it's really valuable to share your mistakes. Like me, I always share my mistakes before, and I think really the journey that's you can share for them as is it's a really a golden nuggets for every creatives, as or for every creative professional that are just getting started. Can you share for TDLS audience what's your biggest mistakes back then, and how do you overcome it?
Okay. Well, probably some of the biggest mistakes I've made in the past, or what I can say is the biggest mistake, is that I didn't start sooner, because I
Mm-hmm.
then understood over the years that how time is really precious and valuable. That what if I started when I was just 20 years old? What if I started when I was 19? What if I started when I was 18? What heights or what achievements I could have done
Mm-hmm.
since then, diba?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so one of the biggest mistakes that I've done, it's not really a mistake, but one of the missed opportunities and regrets was I didn't
Uh-huh.
start early. I didn't start earlier. And then another mistake would be, managing my own finances. Because in the
Mm-hmm.
past, I got so overwhelmed of the results that I was able to do, that I kind of splurged too much on myself, and and on my own personal desires. Um, that I failed to reinvest a lot of my income back into the business, because what if I reinvested a huge chunk of my earnings back into the business, then things might have turned out differently. Then another
Mm-hmm.
mistake that tama, or correct, another mistake that I can say I made was um, investing on the wrong people,
Mm-hmm.
investing and placing too much trust and confidence in a lot of people, because I've worked with, ever since I started, I was able to work with really really good people, and there are some people who, were just really really bad investment in terms
Mm-hmm.
of time, in terms of resources. I guess
Mm-hmm.
one of the takeaways that I can share is that you choose and select uh, really good people. Uh, get to know them a lot more
Mm-hmm.
before taking the time, taking the effort of working with them or partnering up with them. Um, probably what I would be doing next is, really talking and getting to know the people more before partnering up with them or before getting them or before, kasi it's a lot of time
Mm-hmm.
wasted, a lot of time, it's a lot of resources wasted, and there are a lot of um, there are a lot of things at stake if you um, misplace your investments in the wrong people. Um, Probably
Mm-hmm.
one another mistake that I can share is that I became too obsessed with my work, that I failed to be connected with the people who mattered who mattered the most to me, and I wasn't able to give time to myself back then. I worked so hard. Um, I you know well, I can say that it's a part of the process. Really working hard, more than 16 hours a day for 7 days a week.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
So it hard a lot of hard work. A lot of
Yeah.
hard work pays off, but a lot of hard work
Mm-hmm.
also um, has negative implications in
Mm-hmm.
life. So there.
Yeah. And it's good to see that you are crashing it, right? So right now you're building, right? So and I'm really looking forward for more of you for all the works that you do. And I am just I'm just shifting a little bit. I'm shifting gear a little bit. When
Okay.
you with in terms to your journey. Uh, I was thinking if you can share advice or give an advice for your younger self. I know you are not really that old, right? So if that if we see that you are just getting started, if you will give your younger self a best advice, a best practical advice for you or for your future self, what is it?
It would be maybe start earlier, make a lot of
Mm-hmm.
sacrifices, make a lot of sacrifices at first, and go against the flow, go against the flow of the river, because everybody is so focused on going in one direction where they fail to see that there is a better way, that there is a smarter way to do things.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you have to go back, work against
Mm-hmm.
the flow, go against the flow,
Mm-hmm.
buckle up, buckle up, and expect the best and expect the worst, and mm, invest more on yourself, and focus on the people, focus on that very very small number of people who will provide you with the biggest results that you can get. So it's similar to it is Pareto's principle, the 80-20 rule. Invest and focus on the 20% that would yield the 80% of the results. And
Mm-hmm.
if I were to give advice to others out there who are starting, you don't need to have the most expensive gear. You don't need to have the fanciest equipment or the fanciest, whatnot. All you need to do is start and persevere. Go, expect really, really hard times ahead, and work smart, work smarter than everybody else. Find opportunities where other people see that there is none, because oftentimes when you are the only person who finds that opportunity, then you can make a lot out of it.
Yeah, that's it. That's really valuable. Thank you for so much, Jaggy, for sharing that. And I think a lot of creatives are, need to realize that, right? So start. I think I got this from Macho Encina. He said that it's similar to what Jaggy said. Jaggy is saying. Macho said that start before you are ready. So it means that you just really need to start, even though you have the cheapest microphone out there. If you don't,
Yeah,
the
correct.
cheapest camera out there, start right? Start right now, and then you'll find your way, you'll find your path, like what Jaggy said, and that's really really valuable. Thanks for sharing that, bro. And before we wrap up the show, I have two more. I think two more questions, right? So I know you have to do something else, but before we wrap up the show, so 1 year from now, Jaggy, where do you see your business? I think you're crushing it. It looks like you're crushing it. If we are talking 1 year from now, what's your vision for your business?
Okay. 1 year from now, I want to help. 1 year from now, what I see is, I have built a larger circle of really hustling creative entrepreneurs who believe in themselves, who will do whatever it takes to achieve their own successes. I want to build that tribe, a bigger tribe, where there are a lot of successful, creative entrepreneurs out there, whether they be photographers, designers, videographers, filmmakers, marketers, communication people. Because I believe that, I believe that it has a rippling effect, that once you start, and then once it grows, no matter how small it grows, it has, exponential growth. Especially with the power of technology and social media right now, it's very easy to connect. It's very easy to influence others. And then maybe 5 to 10 years from now, or 10 years from now, one of my most ambitious goals is to be neck and neck, or be in direct competition with some of the largest network companies, broadcasting companies here in the Philippines. Because in 10 years' time, I hope to build a really large entertainment studio, one that can compete with ABS-CBN, GMA, and be seen worldwide, where we produce really high quality TV shows, high quality movies, high quality entertaining content. So that's one of my ambitious goals in 10 years' time. In 1 year time, we just have to start and build a tribe that has the same mindset, for growth, for passion, for success, for the love of doing what you love.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Jaggy. And where can people find you online? Can you share your best links, or what's the website of your company?
Sure. For our video marketing agency, it's avantguardcreatives.com. So that's AVANGUARD Creatives, CREATIVES.com. And for our online learning, it's alicreativelearning.com. So that's ALI Creative, CREATIVE Learning, LEARNING.com. And my personal website, where I teach more on the business side, or business class side, that's jaggygangat.com. So JAGGYGANGAT.com. So there you can find me there. We're also on Facebook, Instagram. Just search for my name, or for Avanguard Creatives, or for Ali Creative Learning. And if I may do a shameless plug, if your listeners are interested in taking up business for creatives, I'd like to invite them to my 5-day workshop. It's the Business Class for Creatives 3, happening May 6 to 9, 2019. I'm sorry. And May 27, 2019, which is the, so that makes up the 5-day training
workshop for business. It's about business, right?
Yeah, business for creatives, where I hope to help my attendees, my participants, to achieve their first 7-digit in 6 months or less. So that's a challenge, and that's the goal that I hope to give everyone who will attend the
Yeah.
seminar and work.
Yeah, got it. So I forgot to ask this one. AliCreativeLearning.com. Can you walk us through what are the benefits of visitors, or if they go to your website, what they can see? Can you walk us through on from typing the URL and from searching?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you?
Well, when they go to alicreativelearning.com, they can, get a lot of free resources, free classes, free downloads, a lot of awesome stuff there. And then they can log in for free. We have this free plan where once they log in for free, they can watch a lot of courses already. But if they wish to, take it, take their careers a bit farther, or their learning a bit further, they can sign up for our premium plans. It's relatively affordable. It's 2,000 for an entire year, which already includes, being a part of the group, um, having access to mentors, or if they have any questions, they can ask away, and a lot of tons of huge discounts with any of our upcoming workshops and seminars. So yeah.
That's it. AliCreativeLearning.com. All right. So for those who are listening, if you're listening to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, you just scroll down and you will surely find all the links that Jaggy and I mentioned in this episode, and as well as for the actual site, the designlifeshow.com, you will find all the great episodes like this one with Jaggy, and I hope you learn something new, one or two at least for this session. And Jaggy, once again, thanks a ton for dropping by into the podcast, and I'm looking forward, to meet you as well as soon as I can. And see you soon, man, and have a great day.
You're welcome. Thanks as well for having me, Jay Christ.
And that's it. Thank you so much for listening to the Design Live Show. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you want to support the show, you can do so on Patreon. Head over to patreon.com/TDLS or go to the designlifeshow.com. And you can find the donate button on the top to learn more on how you can support the show. And for some cool extra stuff, you can get an access to my private contents like AMAs, where I take questions exclusively from Patreon subscribers, or check out other stuff I made where I talk about essentialism, design, creativity, and business. I give a lot of value into this podcast that can't be seen anywhere else online. Again, that's patreon.com/TDLS. Thanks for listening to the show, and talk to you guys again next week.